You made a mistake during your pretrial questioning, and now in the middle of being questioned by the attorney who represents the doctor you sued, you want to go ahead and make a change. You want to go ahead and correct something that you now know is incorrect. You do that in the middle of your testimony? You want to know the answer? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney. The answer is, yes, you can. You can make a correction in the middle of your testimony. You can make a correction as you're trying to answer a different question. You can make a correction as the attorney is asking you a different question. Now you might be saying, wait a second, how does this work? I'll tell you exactly how it works. So let's say you brought a lawsuit against your doctor claiming that your doctor was careless and that his carelessness caused you harm and injury. Okay. Now, during the course of your lawsuit, the attorney who represents the doctor, known as the defense attorney, will have an opportunity to question you during a pretrial question and answer session known as a deposition. This takes place in our office. There's no judge there. There's no jury there. But instead, there is a court stenographer there who's going to go ahead and record all of the questions that you are asked and all the answers that you give. And all that information will then be transcribed and put into a booklet later on. Now, at the very beginning of your being questioned, the court reporter says, hey, Mr. Jones, raise your right hand and swear to tell the truth. And now you're given an oath, and you say, yes, I swear to tell the truth. Okay, terrific. So now what does that mean? It means that to the best of your knowledge, to the best of your memory, you are answering questions based upon what the attorney is asking you, and you are now answering based upon what you remember happening. It's designed to learn information from you about exactly what happened, what transpired, and what problems you have now. So now, what happens if you don't remember? Or what happens if half an hour later, after you were asked a question, you begin to realize, you know what, wait a second. The answer that I gave to a question about half an hour ago, now I realize that was the wrong answer. What do you do in that instance? You say, excuse me, Mr. Attorney, I now remember that half an hour ago when you asked me a question about X, Y, and Z, I told you A, B, and C. But now the more that I thought about it, I realized that's not correct. Let me tell you the correct answer. And the attorney will say, okay, tell me the correct answer. And now you go ahead and give him that different answer. And the attorney will likely follow up with some additional questions about the new answer that you've provided to him. And now, as you sit here now, is that your best recollection of what occurred? Yes, it is. And the original answer that you gave me before, would you agree that is incorrect? Yes, it is. Tell me why it's incorrect. Well, because the more I thought about it, I began to realize, wait a second, that didn't happen. I know exactly what happened now. And now you go ahead and explain your answer. That's exactly what happens if, during the course of being questioned by these attorneys who represent the various doctors whom you have sued, you now come to learn and come to remember something that was different than what you said a little earlier. I'll tell you another way this works. Let's say you're asked a question by the defense attorney and you say, you know something? I really don't remember. It's been a few years since this happened. I don't actually remember right now. And now, an hour or two down the road, you're still being asked questions. And now the attorney asks you something that triggers something in your mind and you say, wait a second. I now remember. I do remember. Let me go back for a moment. You had asked me a couple of hours ago about X, Y, and Z. And I told you it was A, B, and C. No, that's not right. Well, now that you've asked me all these other questions, you've jogged my memory, and yes, now I do remember. So let me tell you exactly what I remember. And now the attorney will say, fine, go ahead, tell me what you remember. And then he'll likely ask a series of follow-up questions from there. Why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you because this happens in almost every single deposition. Somebody remembers something differently, and now, after a period of time, they say, wait a second, I now remember, I have a better understanding of exactly what happened. How can I make that change? How can I let the attorney know that the first answer I gave him earlier is incorrect or may not be exact? Now I have a better understanding and a better memory. Yes, let me tell you what the right answer is. Now you know. You know, I realize you're likely watching this because you have questions or concerns about your own matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you are thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but haven't done so yet because you still have questions that need to be answered, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a fantastic day.